Okay. John, so good to see you. Thank you for joining me with ABCs of Leadership. I'm super excited.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. This is take two.
Yes, we got this.
First, second try here, which is all good. It's all good. So, ABCs of Leadership, you and we kind of had like a call before, and we talked about some things. What's your topic that you really want to focus on today with the letter T for
Yeah, it was interesting as we talked. I wasn't even thinking of what you had pointed out and shared, which is the concept of team. And I think that that is actually an invaluable topic that we should discuss and talk about. Yeah, the concept of team. And along with that, what instantly came to mind when I was thinking about the letter T was trust. And so but the two, right? I mean,
a
if you're going to have a team, it requires and demands trust. And can you really lead without a team? I mean, yes, you could lead yourself,
you can lead
but
yourself.
there gets to be that component of team.
We were
So,
talking about that in September because I had gone down to Hoover Dam, and it was the meeting right before our global game changers, and I was on the meeting with Anna, and I'm at the Hoover Dam, and I'm trying to like do all the things, and somebody had said it's like if you're leading and nobody's following, you're just going for a walk, and that happened to me that day. So
yeah.
like I lost my son, right? I'm walking, I'm doing the thing, and then I turn around and look, I'm like, where the heck did that kid go? So I had to go find my teenager
Yes.
at the Hoover Dam. It was great. Anyways, okay, so that whole principle, if you look behind and you're leading and you look behind, no one's following, you're just going for a walk, right? So tell me more about like how has team and having a team you can trust really helped you um in your life, or like what is it? Is that something that a principle that you've seen?
Yeah,
True.
that's a great question. For me, I'm the type of person I'd rather just do it all myself. That's probably the controller in me. I'm a controlling analyzer, so it's like a double whammy on the task side of the spectrum. And yeah, like I want it done a certain way. And so the concept of team for a long time in my life has been very challenging, to be honest, because it's that question of, do we really trust another person or another group of people to do it? And with that comes the relinquishing of the control, because yes, I trust them to do it as long as I don't also put on the expectations and demands that it be done my way in my time, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, that's been an interesting journey for me throughout my life. Learning how to be on a team, be part of a team, support a team. And it's really interesting, though, for me, because I love people. Like, I love people and being with people. And, my contract is I am a loving, connected, joyful woman, and a connection, right? That's right there. It's what it is. And so it's been interesting in my life journey. A lot of it, I thought, well, I'm better off alone. I'll just do this myself. I'll get it done. And my head might be thinking that, but my heart has always called me to connection and people and team. And I've noticed in my life when I play team and I'm on a team, like I'm lit up. That's me. That's what I'm made for. And yes, it gets to be messy, really messy, and I get to release control and let go. But it's beautiful. It's such a more beautiful experience to live life that way. So
Love it.
that's what I've learned.
Darn, I just love everything you've shared because I hear your heart, right? I hear that aspect of just like I'll just do it my way. But then that invitation of like finding yourself as you are surrounded by people. Because you were saying like you and I both joined this leadership group this year, right? So and it's like
Yeah.
I was in group 40, so I was like just a month ahead of you, and then you
Yep.
got 41, and then we both ended up in PhD. And so and then you coached in the middle. So you've had the opportunity to be on these like teams of really high functioning people who are
Yes.
like it's not your average team, right?
Mm-mm.
No. So tell me the difference. Has being on a team of people who are like all in to having excellent leadership skills, has that been a part of the difference for you of why you're now happy to be on a team?
Yeah, it is absolutely like night and day different, like absolutely transformational. I'm thinking about the call last week. I got to listen to the replay of the module training with Michael, but when he talked about, transformation and how, a lot of times we think, oh, we'll just take furniture and move it about in our house, and yeah, like it's transformed. But no, it's not. It's not, right? It's just different.
Just
But
shuffle.
in right, but when you actually transform it, like paint the walls, buy new things. And so all of that makes me think of the question you just asked, which is, when we're in this space of like-minded individuals, like what a difference. And it reminds me of what Lisa always shared, right? It's like we're all going on to this court, right?
So
And
Lisa, just for people who don't know, Lisa's one of the trainers
yes.
in the container that we're in, which we're in heart. We met in hardcore leadership.
Yes, yes, thank you. And so she talks about, we all show up to the pitch and some of us are in football gear and others of us are playing tennis, and others are cricket or badminton, and it's just like, what a mess. And that's been my experience. A lot of my life in different teams, it's like everyone's coming and they're coming, from them, right? What they want, what they need, what they're after, what they think the game is. And now, like, everyone is playing the same game and it's awesome and it's so powerful because we have this intention and goal and focus and we're committed to it. We're just absolutely sold out for it. And it brings this level of joy and camaraderie. And when things don't go right, it's like, it's fine. Like, it's a beautiful mess. It's beautiful. And yeah, it's messy and it's okay, right? Like, where do we get to go from here? Instead of being right or wrong, success or failure, now it's like, hey, what's working? Woohoo! What's not working? Well, all right, here's the gap. Let's go. Let's fill it and make the play, get the touchdown, win the game. So yeah, it's been a wonderful experience, yeah, to be a part of this community.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. My daughter just wants to go do something. They are in my purse. It's just me. Okay. Awesome. Thanks. Okay, perfect. Good. Just going to play be on the climbing game.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. So it's like as we unite, that is just really beautiful. I love that because to me, I've really been like talking about that game theory too, ever since hardcore leadership.
Yeah.
Some guy reached out. I saw some post online and he's like, who's talking game theory? And I'm like, I just experienced game theory, right? It's like as we played the games and did the exercises in hardcore leadership, it's like we were able to learn so much. And I really saw parallels of life, like how we do one thing is how we do all things in these exercises that we go through together. We learn so much by those things that we unite, right? That we unite in that space. And I love too the fact that I've been able to say, okay, if you're playing tennis, great, you go play tennis. If you're playing basketball, go play basketball. That's awesome. Of just the opportunity to not have to make people wrong for the
Yes.
game that they're playing in their life, right?
Yeah.
And then when we come together here, I feel like we make a team mission, right? Like we stand for a transformed world and we pick our 5 things that as a team we're committed to creating together. So we
Yeah.
unite on those points and then the variety just makes it more of an adventure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what else is beautiful for me in the experience of, being in this community is getting to know others and like the beautiful diversity, gifts, talents, life experiences. And when you're willing to put yourself out there, when you're willing to connect and get to know your team, like the resources available to you just 10 times, right, 100 times what you are just by yourself. And it's I think before I entered in, I had this fear, right? Like, do I belong here? Will I contribute? But now that you're in it, it's just like, yes, of course. Like every human being has value. Every human being brings something unique to the table. And you get to trust that. And then we go back, right? You trust yourself, right? And then in trusting others. And we're all in this place of just giving and generosity to being contribution and service, right? Less of what can I get, but okay, what can I give?
It's the giver's game, right?
Mhm.
It's just like as you give, that's the whole point of life. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's also interesting. I'll bring this up. I know we didn't talk about this before. One of the things that I do in my work is I work with disaster restoration companies and I teach them a unique sales strategy. And it's very interesting to me. Because I started doing this 9 years ago. And in doing that with my own team, we realized, like there's always a breakdown. There is always a breakdown every time. Like I teach this process and I want this company to, integrate it and implement it. And what is that? It's that the company isn't playing team, right? Whenever the company itself doesn't play team, this one individual can never win, can never succeed. Like that sounds harsh, but it's just true. It's what always proved out. And so realizing then in the process, okay, like if you, the company, if you want to take this on, like we get to play team, all of you, right? And then we get in and talk about the company and their culture and what their vision is. And if they, a lot of them didn't even have a vision, like what are they up to? What do they want to cause and create? And then not only that, but if they don't have a vision, of course, they're not communicating it with their people. And so everyone literally is on the court playing their own ugly, messy, whatever, and not getting anywhere. And so being able to support, in that side of it to really, help everyone get on a team. What's interesting about this too, and I love, is the concept of how you translate that from the business arena to family, because it's just the same, right? Like you are sharing with you and your kids, like you have this
Yeah.
vision of, hey, I'd love us to create this tonight,
Yeah.
and like inviting them to that and communicating that to them.
Yeah.
And so it's the same, like team is everywhere,
It is.
unless you're a hermit, I suppose.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's so cute. That reminds me, this kid came back off his mission recently, and he was talking about this guy who lives up on this mountain all by himself. But
Right?
he
What?
was not. The missionaries found him, and they had to like hike in on hike in 30 minutes. I don't even know how much it was, but they found him on the mountain, and I think he had a cell phone that he could connect with people. It's just so cute. Of like, yeah, even as a hermit, you're still connected,
Right.
right? Like, and you get here like you can't come into this world except with a team. Like you have to have a mother and a father, right?
I
Like
know.
there's no other way, that somebody has to team up, right? But I love what you said, yeah, about the family of
Right.
that reminded me, this is how I came to Jesus Christ. So I can see the like in your background there's like a compass, right?
Mhm.
So when I grew up going to a Christian church. And then when I was a teenager, I kind of was like, oh, my biology teacher is right. It's all a big bang, right? So I got to explore what that felt like for a while, to pretend like I didn't believe that there was a God. And then I remember seeing this graphic on this, like somebody had printed out like a tract for like a Christian group. And in that there's all these arrows. It's like you were talking, there's all these arrows going everywhere. in the first picture. And then in the next one, it's like that circle, right? Except all the arrows were pointing in and Christ was in the middle. And I was like, that's what sold me on Jesus. I was like, oh, he can bring everything together, right? Like without him, we're going left, right, and center, and who knows? But when we can focus on this man who like was innocent and loving and kind and good, and we can remember he gave his life for us without, yeah, like it was a giver's game for him. He didn't come for himself. He came for us. And when we can remember that and remember like that's the way of being, that we step into that generosity. It's like things actually work then, right? It's we if we can just focus on remembering that we're all part of that body of Christ and like we're all one family and love one another, then like to me that's the magic of life. Like then you've got the game figured out when you can remember we're all in the same team and work together and love one another, right?
Yeah. Hmm. That's great. And it's just so fascinating to think about all the different like sizes or places of team, because, team with yourself and your own body, right? But then team with your family unit, or
Yeah.
even if you're still single, maybe you have dogs, like I have dogs, maybe you have cats
Yeah.
or something, like you have something else, or you have your friends, and then it just keeps going out. But like you said, I mean, you can look at it from that global perspective too. And like we as humanity are a team. And what is it that we want to be up to, right? And causing and creating here in our time and on this world. I mean, like that's it, right? So yeah, everything's just perspective and how you want to look at it.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? And I'm thinking of the movies. I'm thinking, wasn't it like Apollo 13 or something, where it's like they show this pen, the space pod or whatever, the Apollo space pod is out in space and they're like having a breakdown. And then they pan like the whole world around, everybody around the world is like praying for these people to get back to Earth and figure it out. And it's like, this is that unity, right? What do we want to unite in of to create as a world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us today, Jordan. Um, yeah, I think these principles, I just want to say so much. Like for anybody watching this, if you're not part of a team, if you're feeling left out, like Rex Crane was saying, like 60% of people are in the United States alone are saying, I'm lonely. Like they will
Yes.
identify with the feeling of loneliness. And I just that's why I do what I do. I'm just like, oh goodness, guys, like there's amazing people in the world that you can
Yeah.
trust. Like,
Yes.
come find my people because I found all these amazing people and I just want to share them with everybody. So yeah, like just an invitation to anybody who's out there feeling lonely, join our team, join any team. Be kind to your
Right.
neighbor and create a team and a community where you're at and wherever you live, right? So yeah.
Yeah. And I think if we're sticking in the T category, it made me think too in our conversation, the word tribe, right? Like we as
Ah,
humans, we're not meant to be alone. We really are meant to be in connection and relationship with others. So whether you call it a team or a tribe,
yeah.
like you get to find that and not just
A
like find like,
community, a family, whatever you call it. Yeah, there's lots of words,
yeah,
but yeah, I love that.
yeah, but it's just like you get to create that.
Mhm.
And I'm the type of person for a long time, because of different, experiences that happened in my life is like, oh no, like I can't trust people, like I'm gonna get burned, like it's not worth it, like the pain isn't worth it, I can't handle it.
Mm.
And then, realizing like, no, like I'm all alone, like this is not life, this is not, like no more. And so, but then you get to go create what you want. And so, yes, like take my invitation, like you said, right? Take that risk, like jump out in faith and trust, right? That you will find your people, that they are there for you, your team, your tribe, your family, and know that, yes, like you get to have that in your life. We all get to have that.
I love
We all
that.
need it.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much because I just want to bring that back to the story of Jesus Christ because to me it's so powerful. It's like when you just said that, like Jesus had his apostles, so the people that were super close to him. And for the most part, they stayed faithful. One didn't, one betrayed him. But outside of that, there was just a lot of people that just chose not to recognize his goodness, right? But it's like, even in that, it's like you can find, there's always somebody, right? Like, you don't give up on people. Don't give up on everybody because some people betrayed you. Because if you just keep looking, you will find goodness. And I know that because I see that in you, Jordan. I see that in the 44 people on our team. I see that in the hundreds of people that I've met so far this year. I see that in the people that I go to church with on a regular basis. I see that in my neighbors. Like, I just see goodness in people and I trust that. And I see people betraying one another. I know I felt betrayed in my life before, and honestly, I can't even remember it. Like, I was trying to think about that of like, it just doesn't even matter anymore, right? Yep, somebody probably betrayed me. I can remember betraying people myself
Mhm.
and wanting to like not be that person who betrays, right? Like, I want to be different. I'm stepping up in my leadership to be a person who's trustworthy, who like is a valuable team member, right? And I've made mistakes. And I think it's just like the opportunity to give grace to one another because we all break each other's trust. It happens. I remember watching this. I just want to say this. I'll just say it really quick because I remember watching this like years ago. I found this Undone Redone podcast. And it was like this couple, and they'd been married, they'd had kids. He did like all the things wrong. They got divorced. She married someone else for a year. That didn't work out. And then, like 5 years later, he had lifted his leadership to the point where he could be in relationship with the same woman that he couldn't be in relationship with before, right? So it's like, it's not static. We're not
Mhm.
static. We have the opportunity to transform, like you said, to change. And we can do that better in a team, right? And so that's my invitation to people is really trust. We're all trust in the Lord with all thine heart and give grace to people,
Mhm.
right? Because sometimes that's all it takes to for them to make the difference in their life and to be somebody different and to transform. So,
Yeah. Oh, so
any
good.
final words? Anything else that you want to like close out with?
Now, I think the last thing that popped into my mind is what I know we've probably all heard this a lot, but the more that I really get into team, I find it to be so true. And that's the concept of, by yourself, you might be able to go faster. And yes, that's true. I've seen that in my own life, right? But together we go farther. And I've also seen that to be true. Like I might go somewhere quick, but then I can only get so far by myself.
Yes.
Right. But when I go with others, it's amazing what unfolds and can be accomplished. So this is my last thought.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing because it's so
You're
true.
welcome.
You want to have a goal that's big enough, you can't do it by yourself. That's when you
Right.
know you're living on purpose, right?
Yes. Yes. You're risking. You're doing it.
Otherwise, your goal is just, you might have a little goal that you can do by yourself, but
Mhm.
really go big,
Yes.
go
Might as
big.
well. We get one shot. Let's do it.
Yeah, girl, I love you. So happy to have you on my team, Jordan. I love you so
Yes.
much. Take
Yes.
care. God bless you. And
Yes. See you soon.
yes,